there you will find a lot of articles today with respect to application and ethics as well. So and some economics articles. First of all, coaching center debts, blame game in house, home sets up a probe panel. uh, Now, some of you are witness to this particular incident. You were all there. Some of you live in Rajendra Nagar. I've seen what is happening. But in my personal opinion, nothing will change. I'm not a cynic in general, but this is something that I've observed. The center and the state will keep fighting. The issue will go down the drain again in another 10-15 days, and people will be people will be back to normal. They will normalize this. I've rarely seen these instances result in anything significant except for the spark that is there for which is actually called as ephemeral spark in the pan. So this thing will continue. The business of how this is being run will continue. Is what I personally feel. I'll be happy to be wrong, but this is how it is right now. Now, but one of the major problems, there are certain solutions that have been given by an former IS officer with respect to this. Let's go on to that. Since this is a major issue and you need to cover this issue with respect to even ethics. Uh, you have a number of issues with respect to governance of Delhi. And now the issue with governance, these are the two articles which talk about the governance of Delhi: the paralyzed capital, as well as you have for profit not learning. Both these articles actually detail out this situation. Now, the first situation is that who is running Delhi is a major problem. Now, you can call that on a humanitarian grounds. You can say that yes, Arvind Kejriwal should be out, and the fact that he's been locked up in jail without him being a flight risk. So that is one issue, and that is something which is crippling Delhi government. But at the same point of time, if he is not able to exercise his powers from behind the jail, then what that has led to is complete complete fall and complete breakdown of the governance of Delhi. Now, I haven't in my life seen a governance model where the chief minister is under incarceration and still running the government. You can take the example of Jharkhand, where Hemant Soren had resigned and then given the baton to his wife. That can also happen, but the issue is that things like this cannot be run from jail. So that is what is bringing the entire administration to a standstill. And again, you have brickbats being exchanged, and by the way, the responsibility of this lies squarely in the hands of Aam Aadmi Party right now, because the MCD is also controlled by the Aam Aadmi Party, and the state government is also controlled by the Aam Aadmi Party. But what it says is that we cannot do anything because the officers don't listen to us, and there is over centralization that is happening. So as I told you, it's the public, it's students, it's the public which are at loss, which are suffering this governance loss because of the fighting between these two political parties. And they're going to continue this particular road because of the fact, because in January or February of 2025 you have elections coming. So they're going to take this even a step higher. Now, again, this issue has also been commented on by the Supreme Court by a number of in a number of cases. What is the role of CM? What is the role of Lieutenant Governor? And what is the role of Assembly? All of these power games and politics. This is where the entire structure becomes problematic. So it gives you a sense into that it is a governance problem that Delhi is facing right now because of its unique characteristics that it has. Then again, another article which deals with the same topic is for profit and not learning. Now, this is basically an article with respect to that you have a huge unregulated industry. Now, Let's talk about numbers in case of the UPSC industry, and this is something that you can quote in. I mean, could be an example for your essay or an ethics. Let's talk in numbers. Around a million people appear for this exam, the civil services exam. At least aspire for this exam, and if you see the market that is there, if you take a wild guess, the estimate of the market size of ORN is somewhere around 4 to 5,000 crore. That's the market size of the UPSC industry. Now, of that market size, if you see, what happens is that 99%, and I'm not joking, 19 more than 99% of the aspirants that are going to be there in the old Rajendra Nagar market, or any of such exams, are going to fail. And by the way, this is not just limited to civil services industry. This is also the case with any kind of coaching industry, be it NEET, be it any kind. You can JEE, that 99%, if you have a residential complex, then 99% of those will fail. So that 1%, that 1% that gets across the line gives hope to the other 99%, that if we stay in this particular city, if we stay in this particular region, if we stay in this particular market, maybe we will also be able to crack this particular exam. That is the case with old Rajendra Nagar, that is also the case with Mukherjee Nagar, that is also the case with Kota. So that is how these centers for education prop up. But one of the major issues which Kota had also faced is that, what about the running conditions of this particular place. Now, this is the first time that this issue has made headlines, because of the UPSC industry. But apart from that, you must have been reading about the suicides in Kota for a number of years. That what is happening in Kota. So it's become infamous with respect to the mental health of a young child. Now, the same thing is here, that the business of coaching, the government must address, first of all, whether this coaching business comes under the center or the state, because education per se is under the concurrent list. And you have multiple people making this thing, you have multiple governance models, and once you have multiple governance models, then no one is governing that particular model. Then in terms of you have another issue of misleading advertisements, poor quality of teaching, exorbitant fees, and poor and dangerous infrastructure. Now, all of this is an informal economy that is running up. Now you must have started seeing that institutes have started written IGP in front of the name of an aspirant. Have you all seen, guys? Have you all seen this? Have you all seen this IGP written in front of the name of the aspirants who have been successful? There's something called IGP. Any idea?
Yes, sir.
What is this IGP?
Interview guidance board.
So basically, what used to happen was, and this is also a number of institutes. I will send you an article whereby a number of institutes were caught in terms of that what is the publishing name of these students, but at the same point of time they had not taken coaching there. They had just gone there for the interview guidance program, and that is where students were being misled in terms of, and you had students, and this was a case of a consumer court where a student had taken a number of these coaching institutes to the this thing to the court, and said that I took this particular coaching because of such and such name associated, and then I found out that this was only a advertisement thing. So this thing was treated, but still you have this issue is still rampant among the coaching institutes. Then you have poor quality of teaching. Once you pay the fees, I'm not sure there is any particular coaching which provides you a refund kind of a thing. Then exorbitant fees is there. The fees of the top tier. I was teaching this yesterday or day before yesterday in monopoly, in oligopoly, that the highest rung of the entire institutes is around 2.5 lakhs, which is extremely, and it's not, by the way, it's not the coaching fees which hurts. It's actually living in ORN which hurts, which is going to cost you around 30,000 rupees a month. So This is another issue. And then you have again poor and dangerous infrastructure. I mean, if and that's why people are started shifting to new Rajendra Nagar instead of old Rajendra Nagar, because of the kind of infrastructure that is there. So these are all issues that are there in this particular area. And then it's just hope of parents and hope of students that people start living there. In fact, if you remember one of my lectures, I keep saying that staying in Rajendra Nagar is not something that you should do. In fact, I've spoken to a number of parents not to send their children to old Rajendra Nagar, because it's the environment which is vitiated. You don't get a positive environment there, and it's better to stay home. And there's nothing that you cannot do on your own. I've kept on telling you that GPTs are there to help you. The best kind of aid that you can get right now is AI. And if you need a kind of help, then you always have the option of interaction through Google Meet, or just like that we are having. So that could also supplant, but it's more of your mental health which is important, which is not taken care of in a model like what we have right now. Then with respect to so this is with respect to the coachings and all of that. But the last line in terms of solution is also very important, which talks about the fact that this model guidelines should be there in terms of display of qualification of tutors. Now this is again a major issue in terms of the coaching business. I know from a big brand of coaching, where a lot of you must have taken coaching as well. It's a new brand where teachers have miswritten their background. They've written that they have a PhD from Maryland Institute. They've written papers in such and such places, and there's nothing to back it up. So there are some teachers in another premier institute which have written that they have MBAs from the best institute in the country, which is not actually true. So and I have my juniors as well in the industry, and I know for a fact that some of them have not cleared and not passed Delhi School of Economics, and still written Delhi School of Economics as a part of their this thing education. So we really do not know what is the qualification. At times, if you see a number of ads, one of the biggest qualification of someone is that I am an ex faculty of some other big institute. Have you seen some ads like these, folks, where the qualification itself is I am an ex faculty of this place? Have you seen some ads? So that in itself is the biggest achievement of that particular person. If someone is writing I am the ex faculty of this particular place, you can imagine that is the biggest qualification that person has. So again the issue is with respect to ethics of this entire education system that we are there. And until unless, as I told you, I'm a cynic, because I've never seen things happening. Such instances I've seen in the past, and these instances die down very soon. But nothing has happened over the years. So we need to have better policing over these coaching institutes, and MCD also needs to take up the bearing of responsibility of residential versus mixed land use cases, and at least not have these particular institutions in absolute residential areas. So this is one area which you need to address. Then let's move on to our other area, which is needed guardrails. Now, if you remember this particular article, we had talked about in the explained page as well as other areas, that there was this article with respect to the Supreme Court judgment on Thursday last time, which talked about that royalty is not a tax. Now, if you remember this particular debate, that the debate was that in 1989, I think it was the 1989 judgment, India Cement versus State of Tamil Nadu, where the seven judge bench had ruled that royalty is a tax. So this is something, and then it was revised as cess on royalty is not a tax. So what the issue is that there are two entries. One is entry 54 of the union list, and then you have entry 50 of the state list. Now entry 50 of the state list gives the exclusive power to states to make laws on taxes on minerals, subject to any limitation imposed by the parliamentary law. So the parliament has already made MMDRA act with respect to this, through which it can restrict any taxes which the state government can put. The other thing was entry 54 of the union list talks about regulation of mines, minerals, and to the extent that it was declared by the parliament for being expedient for the public interest. So these two sections are extremely important. Now the fact that if royalty is not a tax, which basically means that it will not come under entry 50 of the state list, which basically means that the state in general will be free from the clutches of the center, and it can impose any kind of regulation, and it can increase its revenue through royalty. That becomes problematic, because if you see, this judgment was an 8-1 judgment, which where Justice Nagartana had said that this will lead to an unfair competition, or this will lead to a race to the bottom between states with respect to unhealthy competition between states to drive additional revenue, and which will hurt the entire mining industry, and it will break down, it might lead to a breakdown of the federal system of the mineral development, because there is no central regulation now on this particular matter. So this is a very very important development. You should have complete clarity over this issue, and if you want complete clarity, on Friday's newspaper we had discussed this issue in detail through the explain page. Please go through that particular section if you want to have a much better reading on this. Now then, at a standstill, all of you can resonate with this particular news as well. I mean, for a number of years, what we have seen is the moment that there is monsoon, excessive monsoon in any particular city of ours, be it Delhi, be it Mumbai, be it Pune, and we have seen it in Delhi, Mumbai and Pune this year, as well as Guwahati, that the entire city is crippled if there is any kind of torrential rain that happens. And it's because of the fact that we have not been able to account for, and we have not been able to plan for the local hydrology, and the civic agencies are not working to their efficiency, and that's why we see deaths happening in terms of electrocution. We've seen other water indentations that are happening, but at the same point of time, we should expect such events to occur even more because of what is happening with climate change. And surprisingly, Maharashtra has a climate action plan, but nothing is done with respect to that. Now what we need is a collaboration. Now this is the solution. We need a collaboration between the industry academy and the civil society organizations, so as to develop an early alert system. Now this is a solution that you can bring, and you can also give the example of Buenos Aires, which is from Argentina, where sensors have been installed in the 30,000 stormwater drains, and the moment that these stormwater drains are filling, you have an alert, and that means you need to put in another system for the entire governance. So this shows you that we are falling behind in terms of our development paradigm. Then and there are changes that are needed. Then in terms of say when you're writing your essay, again, if you see, if you have to give motivation, if you have to give an anecdote, you need certain examples. Now what better example than this particular article of winning shot by Manu Bhakar's Olympic success. And you can always write that when you're writing a story which is contrasting, that someone is pushed back and then how that person emerged. If you want to write a story like that, or you have to give an anecdote like that, you can give her example whereby in Tokyo, she was succeeding well, but at the same point of time, in the end, I think there was some jamming in her pistol, and because of which she was not able to she was not able to win in Tokyo. But now she had a meltdown during her pistol malfunction, and then she was someone who was basically not able to control her emotions. But now what has happened is that she has trained her mind, she has trained her nerves, and now she has won this medal. And this is the first medal that we have won in 12 years in shooting, despite coming very close to it on a number of occasions, but we have not won it. So this playing, so how she has calmed herself is an example, something that I also keep telling you, that it's not just your education that you need to follow, it's something you need to do to calm your head. And there are brilliant things that she's done. She's relied on books, Bhagavad Gita, she's relied on playing violin, painting, all of that had calmed her. And because of all of this, she's been able to have a go at Olympics, and then won the bronze medal. Then you can use that example somewhere, maybe take a note of this. Then no islands in this land. We've read this article, we've read an article with respect to, if you remember, there was an article that we read that yes, we need to identify and we need to acknowledge the fact that people who are coming to Karnataka should at least learn the Kannada language. But this is an opposite article, which basically says, and he's a very famous person, Kolapure Balakrishnan. For people who have economics optional, you will have a reading of this for the Nehruvian era. And if you remember, you have already done a reading of this from Nehruvian era. He was earlier teaching at Ashoka, and then he resigned, and now he's at Center for Development Studies in Trivandrum. Now, this particular article basically talks about the fact that we've already heard this cry from the Karnataka government that we want reservation up to 75% in the private sector for non formal jobs, and for formal jobs we need 50% reservation. Now immediately there was a backlash with respect to this, and the Siddaramaiah government had to withdraw this particular this thing notification, or just even the discussion that was happening. Now if you see how this article basically talks about the fact that how Bangalore came to become the hub, and from the initial days Bangalore had attracted a number of public sector enterprises. So basically Bangalore was being given a lot of money from the Consolidated Fund of India, and because it was given a lot of funds from Consolidated Fund of India, there was a lot of these PSUs came, and a lot of defense sector PSUs also came in this particular region. And then simultaneously you had your organizations like Hindustan Aeronautics to Bharat Electronics, now which led to the development of the IT sector in this particular region. And that has led to and apart from the fact that the governance structure of Bangalore was such that this led to the development of this software technology parks, which led to the development of an export orientation software firms. So it is basically to say that the IT sector did receive us enormous amount of support from the country, and which has led to a world class IT sector. Now to exclude employment in this is going back to that theory of sons of soil. There is a theory called as sons of soil, whereby you say that anyone who is the domicile of that particular region will be able to get the benefit out of it. Now this is very parochial, this is very narrow interpretation and narrow way of seeing this. Unfortunately we have started seeing this across the country, and when we have lack of jobs, this is what politicians do. When they are not able to create jobs, they go for divisive politics, and this is the best way to divide people, that convert their failure into an outsider versus insider debate, so that the real issue of lack of jobs is masked. And this is the article which talks about this particular situation. Then coming to you can also read this article that don't blame the West. We'll be surprised if India looks at Middle East as a unit. Please read this article. Now, these are the two articles that I'm going to cover. One is very ethical in concern. The other is this. Now, digitalization can expose customers to impulsive spending, data breaches. Now, there's a RBI report that recently came in, and it has said that this digitalization, what it has done is it leads to impulsive spending. Now, how it leads to impulsive spending? Now, earlier, and I can say this from my experience. Earlier, if I wanted to buy something, I would have to go out and then buy stuff. But now, since I have the power on my fingertips. Now, if I have to buy something, suppose I know I cannot afford, say a particular thing, and I should not buy a particular thing. But because of the fact that I have the power at my fingertips, I get those impulses, and because I get those impulses, I can easily buy, and I can go for that instant gratification. Now, the best way to think, and this is something that I'm talking to you in from a personal experience. Now, if I think that I really need something, I give myself a couple of days. If there's something that I have in mind that I need to buy this, instead of buying this today, what I usually do is that I give myself a couple of days. Let me do a research about that particular thing. Do I really need that particular thing, or is there a alternative that I can create? So by that particular method, I'm able to reduce that impulse. Now, I'll give you a small example. Now, I used to have that chat gpt version of the paid version that was there. But that was costing me around 2100, 2200. Now, I thought to myself, if the students can use it in a combination, why can't I use it as a combination? And why can I also share my ID password, and then I can also contribute 300, 400 rupees per month, and then use it. So that is how you can cut down on your impulse. Think rationally while spending. But what this article says is that digitalization is exposing the consumers to impulsive spending, and also data breaches. Because see, the kind of data breaches that we are having, the kind of frauds that we are having right now, is something also related to this digitalization. You can instantly transfer money, you can instantly take money from people. So that is again a negative side. Now, you should be able to balance your views. Yes, digitalization is important, but uh, digital literacy is also equally important alongside digitalization of your entire country. So please note the point of digital financial education is equally important. Now, within this framework, you also have another project, which is Project Nexus. Please make a note of it. This is a very very important project that RBI has joined. It's a multilateral initiative to basically enable UPI like services among the Southeast Asian countries. So all these South Asian countries will have a unified payment interface, and fast payment systems, where you will have Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, are all linked through this Project Nexus. Just like you can transfer money from one person to another person using UPI, you can also transfer among all these countries, which will reduce the transaction cost of money. And we are also signing similar agreements with countries like UAE. We also signed this with France. So we are now making it much more convenient to for people to transfer money from one source to another source. So read about this. Then next is WazirX plan to socialize on dollar 230 million security breach losses, draws user ire. Now, this is a very very good example for cyber frauds, folks. You need to note this example. You can quote this example in number of places. And also, this is also an ethical issue that you can think of. Now, let me just tell you what has happened. Now, for those who don't know, WazirX is a cryptocurrency exchange where you can buy cryptocurrency, you can sell cryptocurrency. So what WazirX has happened with WazirX is there was an attack on the WazirX system, and someone had stolen tokens worth 230 million. Now, not everyone's token was stolen. For example, it's like a robbery. Now, it's like a robbery, but not everyone in the not all customers deposits were stolen. For example, think of it as a robbery that has happened in the bank locker. Now, some bank lockers have been stolen in complete, some bank stolen have been stolen half. and some bank lockers have not been stolen at all. Now what WazirX has done, what WazirX is doing is that for all the depositors that it has, it's saying that we are going to allow you 55% of whatever you had. We are going to allow you 55% of the money that you had to be withdrawn. Rest 45 we are going to store, and we are going to socialize that particular loss, in terms of everyone will bear that loss. Now first of all, they their security systems were not in place. Now they're taking the measure of force majeure. Now force majeure is basically saying that this was something which was not in our hand, but again this will go to court. And I mean, how can a company say that something was stolen in from my servers and it was not in my hand? So that is another problem. And then the firm's ability to maintain 1:1 collateral is also impacted. If I mean why should some of the people whose resources were not stolen, if my deposit was not stolen, why should I pay 45%? So socializing the loss is again something which is problematic, and which will again, if they are implemented, that it will again go to court. And then you have Financial Intelligence Unit India and CERT, which will look into the entire issue, because these are the cyber bodies with respect to India. Now then a major issue coming is that you have a war, again the extension of war that is coming up. And in Venezuela, Maduro has declared a winner as opposition allege this thing. So this is something that is happening in Venezuela. So this person has won the result. But what is happening in Israel is Israel and your Lebanon is a major issue, because what has happened is, now again you should see the map. Now there was a rocket strike in Golan Heights. Now Golan Heights is basically a Lebanese area. Okay, maybe you can see it through the map that Lebanon is a neighboring country of Israel, and there is this portion called as Golan Heights. Now after 1960s or 1970s, Israel had captured this Golan Heights. Now what has happened is, there is a terrorist organization called Hezbollah, which operates from from Lebanon, and which has support of Iran, by the way. And this Hezbollah is also a Hamas ally. Now all of because of this, now what Hezbollah has done, it has fired certain rockets on in Golan Heights, which led to the death of 12 children who were playing football on a particular ground. Now this is now led to the situation where now the Israeli Prime Minister is now saying that the Hezbollah is also going to be targeted now. And this escalation, which was earlier only between Israel and Gaza, and then it moved from Israel and Gaza to Israel and Yemen because of the Houthi rebels, is now going to explode into Israel versus Lebanon as well. So this is something which is a major issue. Then there are two more articles: debate over COVID deaths. If you want to read it, you can read it, but not very useful from the point of view of the exam. How many extra deaths were there is something the NFHS survey talks about. If you want to read it, you can read it. Then why Mumbai court trial is releasing an accused in a PMLA case is significant. Again something which is with respect to PMLA, because in PMLA you should note that there are very strict rules with respect to bail. You cannot easily get bail, and that's why you say that Arvind Kejriwal is not getting bail, because if you see section 45 of PMLA, until the court is satisfied that the accused is not guilty of the offence, it's a very high bar, because usually what is the case in normal jurisprudence, that anyone who is accused is not guilty. That is the presumption of the court. But in PMLA case, the bar is much higher. On prima facie, the court should note that the person is not guilty, and because of that you cannot release this particular person. And there have been a number of cases with respect to this, and one of the cases is with respect to Pankaj Bansal versus Union of India, where the Supreme Court has ruled that the grounds to arrest has to be in writing, and it is in mandatory that what are the grounds at which the police is basically arresting that particular person. And if you are not able to tell or inform the person on the grounds of which you are picking up him up or her up under UAPA or under PMLA, then that is a violation of the rights of that particular person. So this is another development that you can read. Then let me just see if something is there on the Arjun misses. Okay. Okay, we'll read about it if there's some new thing that comes up. All right. So with this, we are done with the newspaper of the day, folks. Now I wish you all the best for the day, and we will meet tomorrow at same time, and we'll continue with our classes. And I'll send you the recording of this particular session. Yesterday's recording I had to delete because of the fact that there was no space in my system. So thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Bye bye.